Welcome into the DNVR Broncos Podcast. We've got a big day today. We got Utah's coach Kyle Whittingham joining us in just a couple of minutes to talk about 6 Broncos that used to be Utah Utes that are on the team, including 2 new ones. And we've also got a big day. It's our guy Todd's birthday tomorrow, birthday eve. It's your last day of Justin Simmons' year, being 31, Todd. So happy birthday and welcome into the DNVR Broncos Podcast. And welcome to the show, Henry Chisholm. Way to show up a minute and a half late. Or as someone would say, you have to be here 10 minutes early. So actually 11 and a half minutes late. And he doesn't actually believe that we're live right now.
We are.
But we are very much live right now because we've got a special guest joining us.
He's steaming over there.
I'm not steaming.
He is steaming over there. Good thing I have Todd on my side. I think I'm going to be fine. Oh, we are live. He's checking to see if we're live right now.
No, I got tweeted out.
And I got to welcome you into the Toyota Lounge here inside the DNVR Bar. And, of course, the Toyota Lounge is driven by your local Front Range Toyota stores. Toyota, the official vehicle of DNVR. How's the birthday boy doing?
I'm, up a little bit earlier today. Because normally I wake up still like 6 o'clock, I take the kids to school. Then I go work out, so I take a pre-workout and all that. So I think that just kind of starts my morning. So I haven't done that yet.
So workout after the show?
Yeah, right after.
And Henry, you woke up at 9?
No, I woke up at 7:30. There's just cars everywhere in the morning. I had no idea.
You wouldn't say traffic in the morning.
Yeah, no, like I was just driving on the way in, and like everywhere you look, it's just another car out there. It's crazy.
I was actually shocked at how few cars there were on the road, so we had very different experiences this morning.
I just go straight through Denver, so it's all like...
You also live like 5 minutes away. What are you being like, what's going on?
Well, typically it's 11 minutes, but today it was like 21 minutes.
Yeah, so Todd, we before we have Coach Whittingham on in just about 10 minutes or so, let's get your take on the schedule. And first, there's someone in the comment section wanting to circle back to something else that was said on last night's show. It comes in from our friend Austin, who says, still can't get over the fact Henry said Joe Burrow wasn't good. Is Joe Burrow overrated, Todd?
No, he's not overrated. He just gets hurt a lot. Doesn't mean he's overrated. Like, he is a talented player with injuries. I mean, he went to Super Bowl very early in his career, didn't win it, but very talented player. I don't think he's overrated.
You want to defend yourself, Henry?
He's just, he's solid. Like, everybody looks at him as like a great quarterback who's going to go to the Hall of Fame and do all those sorts of things. Like,
that's true.
He's good.
He's young, though.
He is young. But also, like, his contract's going to kick in, and all of a sudden, instead of giving him the $7 million a year, you're giving him $55. You're not going to have, like...
Is it about pay or is it about his talent?
It's about, I think, everybody else's talent. I think that when you have the weapons that he had, like a quarterback like Joe Burrow, who... Again, it's not the elite physical stuff. It's just he gets the ball where it needs to go, and the receivers make plays for him. Like, kind of Bo Nixie in some ways, honestly, I would say. But I look at last year, and they were bad, and they're not going to get more talented, you know? Like, the talent level's only going down from there.
Is Dak Prescott a good quarterback to you?
Similar to Burrow, honestly.
Wow.
Like, I would kind of put them in like that same spot.
So who are your good quarterbacks in the league? Because I feel like
Mahomes and Lamar.
Those are the only two.
Josh Allen probably goes in there.
You think Josh Allen is better than a younger at the same age?
Oh, at the same age? No, because at that point he was horrible.
Okay,
he was horrible.
Okay, so like look at who you're comparing him to. I think that Joe Burrow is a very good quarterback, especially for his age.
He's fine. He's good.
Henry thinks if Bo Nix doesn't look like Peyton Manning this year, boy, bust.
That's crazy. He really only has two good quarterbacks.
Well, I mean, I just think that's like the state of the league. I think like 15 years ago there were good quarterbacks all over the place.
And now you think it's very dwindled out?
Yeah, like if you want to throw like Rodgers in there, you could make the case, but like he just hasn't been good in a while. Like, but he's a 40-year-old man.
He was back-to-back MVP not long ago.
I mean, but since then he's had an 8-8 season. He's missed the entire season with injuries, and
so he had one bad season and was injured. And now he's horrible.
And then the
now
final
we
piece,
can't
he
count
just
him as a
turned
good
40 as well. I mean, like that's a tough little stretch of 3 years.
Tom won his last Super Bowl and win.
Oh,
40.
Yeah, almost 50.
Come on.
I mean, yeah.
So the reason we were talking about this is because the Broncos play the Bengals in the second to last week of the season. Todd, I want your opinion on this schedule. When you look at the entire schedule, because I teased on it on the show yesterday that you had sent us a text telling us about the schedule, and you unsent the text. So I was like, you know what?
That's right.
Maybe he didn't mean to send that. I'm not going to say it. So what are your thoughts on the Broncos schedule?
It's okay.
It's not what the text said, but that's okay.
It's okay. We're not prime time. I'm used to the Broncos being like prime time, a little bit more than this. Yep. And some okay games on there, though. I feel like our Thursday night is the Saints.
Yep.
Which is cool. I think there's a storyline there. I don't know if I want to do primetime against the Browns, but I think it is what it is.
For some reason, I don't know why the Broncos and Browns play on primetime like all the time. Maybe it's because that's typically a Thursday night game, and sometimes they like stash some bad games on Thursday night. And over the past couple of years, those teams haven't been the most exciting. But it's just a weird one to just have like every other season. And Todd, you mentioned primetime games. Broncos have 2 primetime games this year. The country has finally said enough of the Broncos.
Yeah.
Because the Broncos, they rode that Super Bowl 50 wave of primetime games for so many years. Understandably so, after Super Bowl 50, where they would get 5 primetime games, 6, 5, 4, 5, 4. And then finally, it seemed like it was going to die down. And then the Broncos got Russell Wilson. So it was like, nope, we're sticking with 5. And that was when the country had to suffer through Broncos primetime games where the scores were 13-10, 11-10, overtime games of 12-9. And then, so it was like, last year it was like Broncos can't be on primetime. Oh, they got Sean Payton, so we're going to have 4 primetime games. Finally, the country has decided enough of the Broncos. And you know what? A little surprise, Broncos Country is happy with that. Broncos Country is thrilled to not be playing on Christmas. Broncos Country is thrilled to not be playing on Thanksgiving. Broncos Country is happy to only have 2 primetime games. And it kind of reminds me of what Sean Payton said last year when he took over. We're going to work in the shadows. We're not going to be out there, but we're going to be working, putting in our work. And this is what it kind of feels like this year in terms of the schedule. Like, we don't need to be on primetime TV. Let us just do our thing, and then the country will start talking about us if we do well.
I feel like he was working in the shadow means like, you're training in an old dirty boxing gym, but you still get to go into the heavyweight, contention match, and then you show what you've been doing in the dirty gym. Like now we're just in a dungeon, and then we're gonna play like, 7 a.m. in the morning where nobody's watching football yet. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really care, honestly. It's convenient for us though. We don't there's no more sitting in the press box writing at 2:30 in the morning, which is kind of cool. What do you expect when you lose that many games? I guess the other piece is that I think they made the flex rules even easier this season. So you'd expect even more movement in terms of who's playing the primetime games. That's just something you deal with if it ever happens.
Well, and it's a really good point, Henry, because you can start flexing Monday night football games in Week 12. You know what week the Broncos play the Browns? Week 13. So let's say the Browns aren't good and the Broncos aren't good either. Maybe the Broncos only have 1 primetime game. I think they are guaranteed that Thursday primetime game. And even if the Broncos and Saints aren't that good, or one of let's say the Saints isn't good and it's not compelling, it's still compelling because of Sean Payton going back there. But there is a chance that it boils down. The Broncos only have 1 primetime game. Yeah. There's also a chance that you look at some of these other games. Let's say the Raiders and Broncos are both good. That could be a game that's flexed to primetime in Week 12. You also have the Chargers and Broncos, Week 16, Cincinnati and Kansas City. Those are both games that could be flexed on their own. The Broncos are good. This sets up a very interesting end of the season with that 4-game stretch. How tough do you think this stretch is, Todd, after the bye? Colts at home, Chargers on the road, Cincinnati on the road, Chiefs at home.
I think it's going to be tough. Pretty good teams. I think the Colts are a little bit young at quarterback. I'm interested to see what the Chargers are as far as the team and how they choose to run the ball. Bengals are going to be good. Chiefs will be easy because they're going to be sitting Mahomes and Kelsey. So we probably can get a win on that night.
Okay, so we've got Coach Whittingham joining us in just a second. But Todd, you guys have to remind me to circle back to what Todd just said about playing the Chiefs and potentially their backups.
Yes.
Because I tweeted something yesterday that so many people hated.
Oh, boy.
Hated. And I want to get your guys' opinion on it to see if I am in the wrong or to see if Broncos Country needs to flip how they view things right now. But first, I got to give a shout out to our friends over at Dialed In Gummies. At Dialed In Gummies, they're Colorado's premier cannabis gummy specializing in craft and small batch for the past few years strong. Not only do they make it a point to prioritize collaboration and collaborate with the most quality material suppliers in all of Colorado on a regular basis, but they creatively use batch to tether to current events in Colorado. They've made over 2,500 unique batches since 2020 and have 2 tribute batch releases to put on your radar this week, both themed around the playoffs. Check out batch 1950. Shout out to Rocky, who's on a basketball court, an ode to everyone's favorite mountain lion mascot in batch 1942, which smells like team spirit, a sentimental nod to the Avs as they position themselves in the playoffs. By the way, Avs, huge win last night. If you want to celebrate the Avs, maybe Dialed In Gummies is the way to go and celebrate. So go to dialedingummies.com or visit a dispensary near you to learn more about these limited releases. dialedingummies.com.
Also, shout out to Circa Sportsbook. It's always weird with the clock because I want to start it like right on a very memorable number.
And what, you started on like 6 or something?
It was 4. Yeah. I think I can't remember how much money exactly I made last night.
Because it was so much.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah, and because I was a little distracted. I realized at like 2 a.m. that I hadn't seen the Avs goal yet. Because remember, Lindsay was saying, like, yeah, they score with 0.6 seconds. And I was like, wait, I still haven't even, like, looked at that because we had the schedule release starting at the same time as the Avs game. And then we got done, like, kind of early second period. And so I watched the rest. I was kind of just writing the whole time. But because they were down, I was able to make more money, which is awesome with Circa Sportsbook. Circa is the best. They've done so much for us, helping us get out to Vegas a bunch of times. And they have a low hold model, which leaves them with tight money line splits. So you can download the app at circasports.com. Circa Sports bets can only be made while physically located in the state of Colorado. Must be 21 or older. All rights reserved. Circa Sports Colorado encourages you to gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call or text 1-800-GAMBLER or visit problemgamblingcolorado.org.
In just a couple of minutes, we're going to be joined by Utah's head coach, Kyle Whittingham. Todd, can you name the 6 Utah Utes that are on the Broncos roster?
Oh, no. Tim Patrick, Vele.
Okay, boom.
Ellis.
Boom. The highest drafted one you haven't got.
Bowles.
Yep. Boom.
Yeah.
2 more. These are for sure the hardest.
I'm done.
Yeah. Think about your position. New.
Starter.
Barton?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Impressive.
There you go.
And now there's no chance you get the last one
My favorite undrafted free agent.
this year.
This year?
I come from the land down under.
The Aussie,
Not punter.
no, the rugby player?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, he went to Utah too? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yep.
Thomas Yasmin, the
There we
tight end.
did. Yeah, we did it.
Yeah,
Wow.
that was impressive, Todd.
That was tough.
I mean,
See,
impressive
you know
might
what?
be a stretch.
Sometimes you have to try
Yeah,
because
yeah.
initially you said no, I'm not going to, and then you did, and we're proud of you, Todd.
Thank you, man.
Isn't that kind of crazy though? 6 players from Utah on this team.
Yeah, I feel like once they get 1 or 2 good guys, they kind of like go to the same like feeding
Yep.
trough.
Yep.
Because they did that with Iowa for a little bit
Yep.
of time. Even not like I was whatever, but Sac State, I feel like there was like 4 different guys in camp while I was there from Sac
Dang.
State at
Yeah.
different times. O lineman, linebacker, wide receiver. So
Did you play with them? Or
yeah,
were they different times?
No, I played with them too.
Dang, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, it was fun.
I feel like a lot of that's like regional too. Like it feels
Yeah.
like the Broncos, obviously you bring in like a couple guys from Colorado State and a couple guys from others, but like Montana is always like the Seahawks would bring in a couple guys from Montana. It seems like Broncos always get a couple of the Utah guys.
All right, I heard the ring. That means our friend Coach Kyle Whittingham is joining us right now. Coach, thank you so much for joining us. I got to start here. The Broncos, we were just talking how they have 6 different Utah Utes on their roster right now. Because of that, have the Broncos kind of become your adopted NFL team?
They're one of them. That's without a doubt, and that's typically how I gauge my interest in the NFL teams is how many Utes they have on them. And so we're certainly heavy laden with Utes on the Broncos. We love it.
Yes, they certainly are. And I want to start with one of the guys the Broncos just drafted, Devaughn Vele, wide receiver. A lot of people, including Sean Payton, have actually compared him to another Utah Ute, and Tim Patrick, saying that very similar traits that they have. Do you see that? And Tim Patrick's obviously had a great career in the NFL. Is Devaughn a guy that you see could having a similar type of career, successful career as Tim?
Yeah, they certainly have a lot in common. Both big, tall receivers. Devaughn's 6'4 plus, as is Timmy. Both tremendous basketball players. Probably could have both played Division I basketball instead of football had they opted to go that route. Excellent speed, great work habits, really high football IQs. I mean, there is a lot of common ground between those two young men.
Yeah, I want to talk about another Ute that's now in the Broncos, Jonah Elliss. He kind of feels like somebody that was kind of under the radar as far as pass rushers, but has really elevated his game in his last year in college. What have you seen through his transition, from sophomore to junior to senior, to how he's really progressed?
Yeah, he's really developed in our program. He came to us. He played mainly running back, linebacker, a little bit of tight end in high school. We recruited him as an edge rusher with the thought that he was going to get bigger and stronger. He was about 205 when we got him, and he's about 245, 250 now. So he has done a great job in the weight room and developing himself. Was having a terrific year until he got nagged by some injuries. In fact, he was leading the nation in sacks pretty deep into the season. He's a tremendous talent. He's got explosiveness. The edge rushers, you got to, that first three steps is critical, and he has that. He's relentless. He's got a motor that never shuts off, and a great pedigree. He's got three other brothers in the NFL. I don't know if I've never heard of four brothers in the NFL at one time. I've heard of a couple and maybe three once in a great while, but four, I mean, that's some really good bloodlines there. And I was fortunate to coach Jonah's father. My first year here at Utah, 1994, I coached Luther Ellis. He was a defensive tackle. I use that term loosely, coaching him. I said, hey, line up here and do what you want to do. He was just an incredible player, first-round draft choice. And so the gene pool is there, and Jonah, I believe, is going to be very successful in the National Football League.
I'm curious what you think the next steps for Jonah are, because he's still only 21. He kind of came into his own recently. Like, do you think that he's going to put on more weight, or is he kind of filled out there? Like, he can obviously rush the edge, but he does so much in the A gaps and B gaps too. Like, how do you see him fitting into the NFL, and where does he kind of build on what he has?
Well, I think he's going to be a great fit. I think he's going to get a little bit bigger. I don't think he's going to be a 265-pound guy, but he can get to 255, 260 maybe. And I think he's really, he's got such athletic ability. You can bring him off the edge, you can drop him off in coverage. Kind of the hybrid position that a lot of teams have, and he's just, but his work ethic, all the things off the field are really what set him apart. Nobody's going to outwork Jonah Elliss. He's got a great attitude. He's a great teammate, and completely unselfish. He'll do whatever you ask of him.
And Coach, I kind of want to take that same approach with that question to Devaughn, because a lot of people, I think the biggest knock on him was he's 26 years old, and the Broncos actually viewed that as a positive. What steps do you think he can take in his game, despite being really mature already?
Well, he is a mature kid, and he's a little bit older, but that's relative. I mean, 26 years old, he's got a lot of good football ahead of him, and he's a guy that just seems to find a way to succeed. He came to us as a walk-on, believe it or not. He walked on our program way back when. He served a church mission, an LDS church mission, and that's how he ended up being as old as he is before he got finished. But he's a guy that is self-made, and he was primarily a basketball player in high school. Like I mentioned, he was a guy that really didn't start to develop as a football player until later, much later in his career. But he's got a lot of upside, and you're going to love how he goes after the contested catch, down the field. He's really good at that, and he's just got that knack for getting open. He's got a great feel for the position.
Coach, I feel like with all these players on the Broncos, I have to ask you, what's in the water in Utah? What is it about Utah that, the Broncos love so much, and they keep getting draft picks from guys like Garrett Bowles, the guys that I play with, like Devontae Booker. You guys continue to put out great athletes. What is it about Utah?
Well, I'll tell you right now, it's two things, and they both stem from our assistant coaches. Our assistant coaches do a phenomenal job of targeting the right guys for this program, the guys with the upside, the guys that we believe we can develop. We don't get a lot of 5 stars. In fact, I don't know when the last time is we got a 5-star. We get a few 4 stars. But primarily we make our hay with 3-star athletes that we think have got a lot of growth and room to develop. And then our coaches do a great job doing just that, developing these players. And if the players stick in the program and get all the way through until they're finished here, there's a great opportunity for them to play in the National Football League. Our percentage is very high of senior. In fact, I think every senior this year, scholarship senior, either got drafted or a preferred free agent contract. So I give all the credit to the assistant coaches, bottom line, as far as finding the guys, identifying them, and then developing them once they get to our program.
And like you said, Devaughn's kind of like the epitome of all that, coming in as a walk-on. What was it about him that made you realize you wanted to give him a scholarship?
Well, it was very apparent after it was about a year into it that this guy was as good or better than most of the scholarship players that we had at wide receiver. And in fairness to him, we put him on as soon as we were able, and he never looked back. I mean, he's a very humble young man. He was very, he's grateful for everything he gets and everything he has, and doesn't take anything for granted. And you're just going to love him. I mean, there's not one negative thing, not one thing that lacks in Devaughn Vele that that you're going to. I mean, he's just going to be a positive all the way around.
Final question for you, Coach. We really appreciate the time Utah coach Kyle Whittingham joining us today. You played against the Broncos' new quarterback, Bo Nix, a couple of times. We asked Jonah Elliss what the scouting report was when he played against him when he was on Utah, and he said, he gets the ball out so fast. From a coaching perspective, what are the Broncos getting with Bo Nix?
He is tremendous. He did a number on us this year. He's first of all got that ultimate field general mentality that you want in a quarterback. He is an alpha dog. I don't know him personally, but you can just see it on the field. He exudes leadership, and you can tell that he's got complete command of the whole offense. He is the focal point. All the players rally around him. Just as far as details, his completion percentage is uncanny. He does get the ball out quick, but he gets it out quick and puts it right where it needs to be. I think it was about 80% this past season completion percentage, which is off the charts. I mean, if you can get 65%, you're doing really good. And he's a guy that was completing a bunch of balls. Tough to sack, like you said. That obviously goes hand in hand with getting the ball out quick. He makes such quick decisions, such a quick processor that very, very seldom do you have a chance to get home. And he, I don't know Drew Brees. All I did was watch him as from afar. But there's some similarities there. I think Coach Payton is really going to like Bo, and I think he's going to probably find that there's a lot of common ground between him and Drew Brees. Now he's got miles to go before he gets to that level. Obviously, Drew Brees was one of the best to ever do it, but that's the mold that he comes from, in my opinion.
Well, Coach, we can't thank you enough. Awesome insight, and congratulations on your 21st season as the head coach of Utah. It's incredible.
Something like that. I've been blessed. Been here for a long time, and I'm a skier. It's the best skiing in the world here, so that's one of the reasons I'm here.
Well, you have to come to Colorado, maybe second best then.
Colorado is second best. I don't want to offend the Colorado people, but Utah is best.
There we go. Thank you so much, Coach.
All right, guys. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it. Bye-bye.
Man, awesome insight from Coach on his Utah players. And then, he was the one to say the Drew Brees similarities.
Yeah, I know you love that.
I didn't set him up for that.
Yeah. No, Utah's awesome. Obviously covering the Pac-12. Coming into it, I didn't know much about Utah. Like, I didn't even realize that we're in the Pac-12. But then you get there and you start watching, and you're like, oh, wow, look at USC. They're so fast. Or like, look at Oregon. They're so fast. And then every single year, Utah shows up and just grinds everybody to a pulp. Like, I think it was like 4 out of 5 years they were in the Pac-12 title game, and they won a couple of those. Like,
and every year they're under the radar.
Yeah.
They just end up there and no one talks about them until they're just in the Pac-12 title game.
Yeah, because that's football. It's like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter too much how fast you are. It's about just being big and bullying guys, and that's why they've had such a good program for so long. Yeah, it's insane. He's been there, I think, 34, 35 years as a coach straight at Utah.
21st season as the head coach, which is just wild. But I thought he had some awesome insight on Devaughn. He also sees the similarities between him and Tim Patrick, both basketball players, both could have played D1 basketball, he said. And then, I mean, not surprising that he loves Jonah Elliss and also coached his dad, but it seems like everyone that gets around that family just absolutely falls in love with him.
Yeah, great guy. So I'm excited to see him come into his own in the NFL and what he can do. I have a breakdown in a minute, but we'll get to that.
Well, you know what? You teased it. So let's get to the inside
teaser.
scoop on Jonah Elliss. You teased us big time yesterday, I'll tell you what. with the text message, that's all. But first, I got to give a shout out to our friends over at True Fan Travel. Speaking of teasing, Henry, you and I teased True Fan Travel, where we are going. We're switching it up. We're not going to New Orleans anymore because it's a Thursday night game. We want to make sure everyone was able to maximize a full weekend with us and seeing a new city. So we have settled on a destination. How do you guys feel about going to Florida at the end of September? How about a little Tampa Bay action? That is where we are heading with True Fan Travel. And if you want to come with us, it's going to be awesome. We're still getting all of the details finalized, but here's a little tease, speaking of teases, that I have for you about what we're going to do. It's going to be 3 nights. It's going to be September 20th to the 23rd. It's going to include a game ticket, a pep rally on Saturday, a tailgate, and Saturday night before the game, we're having a party on a boat. We're having a boat party. We did this in London.
We did.
And it was awesome. I might have had a little too much fun. Actually, the perfect amount of fun. And we're going to do that again in Tampa.
That was a good
End of
time.
September. I have to imagine that's like a great time to go.
Great
Maybe not to
time.
play football, because that might be a little too hot to play football. But to like have a party, that might be the time to go and have a party. So make
That
sure.
boat was so much fun.
It was so much fun.
Remember it was such a nice guy. He asked me my permission to keep giving you shots. He's like, "You mind if I just get Zach really fucked up tonight?" And I was like, "Well, I mean, just go ahead."
My dad Henry over here.
Yeah, exactly. That was a great boat trip.
Oh, it was a great time, and True Fan Travel is going to make it fun.
Yeah.
Again, one of the reasons why we're going there is True Fan Travel. The owner has a great connection in Tampa, so he's going to hook us up with all of the best spots. So make sure to go to truefantravel.com/trips to book your spot today. It might not be finalized and up on their website yet, but you can check it now. Get your reservation if it's up there.
How far is Tampa from Disney World?
Couple
A
of
couple
hours?
hours, I think.
Yeah, I think you can drive though.
You can drive if you want.
Interesting. We'll keep that in mind.
Yeah.
It's a shame they don't have like a bye week right after.
Yeah, no, it's week 3.
Shout out to our family at American Raptors. American Raptors is Colorado's only professional rugby team, and they are back, and you can catch their games on ESPN+. The American Raptors are a league where you can go try out. You can have a good time if you're a former athlete and you want to get into some rugby.
Thanks for pointing at me.
No, I just kind of went like this. It wasn't like no, but for sure, I think everybody should go try out.
Not everyone's gonna make it, but
But there may be a path. Look, there may be a path from rugby to the NFL now. Now that we've seen that pipeline,
It's
you know what I'm
true.
saying?
Wow.
You never know.
That's how you get your start.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And our guy Colton Strickler has you covered with all their content. They have a weekly DNVR rugby podcast. You can hit the subscribe button, and you can get the American Raptors wrap up their 6-game homestand at Infinity Park and are now set to return to South America for their last 3 matches of their Super Rugby America's regular season. Don't miss out on catching the Raptors in action as they fight hard to make their final push to the playoffs in the 2024 season. Tune in to ESPN Plus every Saturday from May 11th to May 25th. For more information, please visit AmericanRaptors.com.
all right, that was awesome to get that information from the coach about what the Broncos are getting in Jonah Elliss, their second pick in the draft, of course, picked in the 3rd round. But now let's get the inside scoop from our inside linebacker. Things about defense from Todd. Let's break it down.
All right, this is our guy Jonah Elliss, and I'm excited about him. I think he's a pretty good talent. He had a really productive year until he got injured. 16 tackle for losses, 12 sacks, in 10 games. So
Pretty good.
He really was balling. here's a couple plays for him right now. These first two are just kind of him doing his job. These aren't like amazing plays, but it's just understanding him as a player. He's right here on the edge, and what you want from a defensive end is to be able to set the edge and set a firm edge so that they can't create spacing to make gaps bigger. And that's exactly what he does. He takes on this block really well, keeps his outside arm and leg free, being able to make a play if the running back comes out here. But also, he didn't provide any space. If you look at where the play started to the very next screen, literally he stopped this guy in his tracks and keeps the hold nice and tight. Pause for his guys, hit the other defenders. Unfortunately, everybody didn't stay in their gap, so this guy ends up skating for about 6 or 7, but he does a great job. You can still see him right here holding that edge, creating a firm edge so that they're able to, fill their gaps inside. And I feel like the inside linebackers are going to, love this a lot, because when we have small gaps, tight fits, you're able to fit harder and you're able to make more plays.
Yeah.
Gaps.
That's what you guys are looking for.
Henry, grow up.
That's exactly what we're looking for.
Do you know you can go see Dolphins in Tampa?
We're doing that.
Just throwing it out there.
Not the Dolphins, but Dolphins. The animal.
Maybe like every other year you can see the Dolphins.
That's true. That's a good point.
All right, here's the second play I have. This is his best game from last year when he played against UCLA. He had like 3.5 sacks. He had 5 tackles for loss and 10 tackles all in one game. So he was definitely balling. This isn't even a play he gets home on. He's out here rushing on the edge, one-on-one. He likes to get in this 2-point stance, but sometimes they bump him down, and he'll play right here inside, and they'll bring another guy to rush off the edge. So he can do both, and it's good that he's versatile for the Denver Broncos defense. But this is him getting off the edge. He has a couple moves. I know, Hank, you talked about, he said he has 3: spin, double swipe
and swim, maybe?
and swim.
I think that's right.
Maybe so. So this is him on the double swipe, rushing upfield, and he does a great job. The double swipe is basically you run, and at the same time you turn your hips, you swipe both hands across to knock down the offensive lineman's hands so you can see the offensive lineman.
Yeah.
Once that happens, their body kind of leans forward, they lunge. He doesn't get here, but in the game where you have 3.5 sacks and you're one step away from getting another one, like you're just pretty dominant all game.
So is that, you mentioned the hips, but is that upper body strength to do that? Is that lower body strength? Like, where does the strength come from with that move?
A little bit of everything, because you have to have, good hips, and then your core has to be really strong, because you have to be able to flip everything at once and do it with enough power to knock his arms down, but also keep you in control to be able to move forward. So I say hips, core, and then, of course, arms.
Yep.
That UCLA game is crazy, though.
Yeah.
Because it's like every other play, he's just a step away from getting the quarterback. Like, especially when you go into it knowing there's 3.5 sacks. Like, you start at the beginning and you get like halfway through a play and you're like, this is going to be one of the sacks. And it's not.
Yeah.
And you get to the next one, it's like, this is going to be a sack. It's like, that wasn't either. But he still gets so many. He's just like a step away on so many others.
Yeah, he definitely had a great game. This was like phenomenal all the way through. This one is the sack. Actually, sack. This is his spin move. So we saw the double swipe. This is his spin move. He's outside on the edge in a 2-point stance. 83 was a little bit weird for me to find on film as a outside linebacker, but I'm gonna let him rock with it. And so he has a good get off, 2 hard steps upfield. And the good thing about the spin, or what you need to do to make the spin good, is that you really have to force him upfield, and then you have to like play into him for him to kind of hard set, and that's where you get the ability to spin and come underneath. And so that's exactly what he does. He plays into him, gets kind of on his upfield shoulder right before he gets too high. He spins, comes underneath. This guy's still looking for him over here, and he's rushing towards the quarterback here. Very good spin move.
Wow.
He ends up getting this sack, one of his 3.5 that game. And like I said, he just had a phenomenal game.
Look at that offensive tackle. That is not a spot you want to be as an offensive tackle. Literally like standing up, looking at your quarterback, and a pass rusher is much closer to the quarterback than you are.
Yeah, he's at the quarterback.
Yeah,
For sure.
yeah, that is not good.
Exactly. All right, so we have mostly good plays. This is just one where I think he's best when he is prepared to pass rush. I wouldn't say that he's the best at like converting run to pass. You engage, and then some guys are able to, shock and shed really well to be able to get that, run blocking into a pass rush. I feel like this one, he kind of expected more of a run, so he kind of sat there with the guy instead of really being ready to rush. And because of that, he kind of was sitting there eyeing the quarterback and not committed. and the quarterback ends up escaping the pocket to his side. And this is him right here, just a little bit late. Quarterback throws the ball downfield, but I just think he does a better job of just rushing. When he's rushing, he does a great job of it. Converting past the run is something that he'll have to work on and continue to get better at as a Bronco.
Well, you know what? There obviously had to be downsides to his game. Or
This is small.
Yeah, and he wouldn't have fallen to the third round if he was just like this perfect pass rusher and what, Hank, you said one of two guys that had more than
Power
12
five,
sacks in the Power 5. And so I would absolutely take these small things, which are things that you have, if you want to be an every down player at that outside linebacker position, you have to improve at. But I would so much rather take a player like this, especially from what Coach Whittingham told us about how he's just a grinder and a worker.
Yep.
I would take these things that he needs to fix with already like 3 pass rush moves, dominant pass rush moves, than trying to take like a well-rounded player that just needs to become a much better pass rusher, because that's probably a lot harder to do.
For sure. Yeah, he definitely has a lot of skills and talents. I don't think he'll be lacking much when he gets to the locker room, and the things that he needs to improve on are very improvable things, and I think he'll be able to do it, especially with Coach Whittingham talking about his work ethic. I think he'll be good in no time. Here's another sack that he had within the game. He's always on the right end, so that's his favorite spot. He's usually lined up there, and this is just a power rush. So he just kind of knows he's rushing this time and just takes this guy and drives him all the way back and ends up coming inside of the tackle, pause, to get the sack.
Big pause.
Yeah, big pause. So this is just one-on-one. I'm better than you. You can't block me. I'm going to go get the sack. And, he did a great job playing bully ball right there.
I like that, especially being an undersized guy, like 6'2", as Henry asked Coach. Does he have the ability to put more weight on? That's my maybe biggest concern with him, is his size. After watching the film, Todd, is that a reason to be concerned because you have to project with size to the next level?
Yeah, I think he's strong. At the size he's at right now, I don't feel like he's lacking a lot, and you have to put on 10 pounds before the year starts, or you're going to be out there getting demolished. I don't feel like that's his game. I feel like he's strong, and then he'll get stronger, but I think he's in a good position right now as far as size, especially for a rookie.
If he was like 6'5", he would have been a first-round pick, which is crazy because it's not like the height really doesn't always matter all that much.
But the eye test matters so much.
Exactly.
It matters so much.
Yep.
All right, this was a play that he made. He made the sack right here, phenomenal play. It was 1st and 10. Next play is 2nd and 18, and literally he had back-to-back sacks.
Ooh.
So this is a great job of him, like situational awareness as a rusher. They tell you never want to get to the upfield shoulder of the quarterback. If you do, you have to counter, and that's exactly what he does. He beats this guy with speed, but he sees this guy kind of retracting and getting back on his hip. He notices that he's getting to his upfield shoulder, and he retracts, comes inside, and this is him and number 0 in on the sack together. But he did a great job of redirecting once he saw that he was getting too high on the quarterback. He came back underneath, got into that pocket, and is in on this sack right here. Made a great play.
Love
there
that.
It is. Yeah.
And I would have to imagine for an outside linebacker coming into the NFL to have multiple moves already is huge, because some guys come into the NFL and they're a first-round pick and they just have one great move, and NFL teams believe that they can add more to that, but to have multiple moves already is huge.
Yeah, they say you only need 2. You need a winner and a counter. So I think for me, what I saw on film, I think I would love to see. Really, I think he could add another one to the mix. I think you do, the double swipe. Your spin's your go-to, but your double swipe is your counter, so they never can overplay you, on the inside. And then, every now and then you hit them with a little bully right in the throat, just right at them, and you kind of keep them off balance. And I think that'll be really good, man. I think he does have some weapons, so I'm excited to see him put it all together on the field.
How many moves did Vaughn have?
Vaughn had a lot, but he only needed 2. Because he beat you with so much speed, and then he hit you with that long arm, because you're trying to run to catch him, and then he just sticks his hand in the middle of your chest and just presses. Yeah. And when you're off balance, there's nothing you can do there because you're trying to rush to a spot. Yeah, it's tough.
And then it gives you that easy access
Underneath, yeah, he
Yep.
just pushes you by.
Yeah. Man, that is really tough.
was pretty good.
We got Edward in the comment section, in the Toyota chat, I should say, saying Elvis Dumerville was undersized as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Shaq Barrett,
Hell of a player.
Yep. Shaq.
both those
so
guys
certainly you can.
like 3 inches shorter than Jonah.
That's actually wild.
Yeah, because Elvis was 6'11", right?
6'11" is
5'11",
tall.
5'11", sorry, 5'11",
It's a
5'11".
giant.
I'm just not used to these heights starting with 5s. Yeah, because Ellis came in a little over 6'1", maybe closer to 6'2", I think.
Yeah. Man, and Dumerville is 5'11".
Little fella.
That wow.
Not that I would
You allowed to
ever
say
say that to him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome breakdown, Todd. Love that. Really getting to know our Utah Utes in this show today. And just a reminder, I know we went a little early today, so if you're tuning in later, hit us with a thumbs up. It really helps us. You can still leave comments in our YouTube posts. We go back and look at those to get some feedback on the show, and then also to hear what you guys are saying as well. Hit us with a thumbs up. We really appreciate it. Turn on automatic downloads on the podcast side as well. And we've got a draft today that we're going to do.
Surprise.
No one knows about it. It's a surprise draft, but it's easy. Don't worry. But before we get into that, I want to read you this tweet I put out. And do I need to correct the way I view things? Or does Broncos Country need to correct the way they view things? I tweeted, I thought this was innocent. The Broncos end the season against the Chiefs at home in Week 18. If the Chiefs already have their playoff spot locked up, Denver could play against their backups. Trying to view it as like an optimistic thing. Got a lot of comments saying, already throwing in the towel. We used to be a proud franchise where winning was the expectation, especially in the division. Someone said, trash post by Zach. Someone said,
Say their names. Say it.
I should. Tristan said, Zach, you got no hope, bro. And New Era said, this is embarrassing. Ethan said, delete this. Matthew, let's say, JBags19 said, tweet checks out from a guy who spells his name Z-A-C. And literally just so many. Sean M.F. Payton, I don't think that's actually Sean Payton, said, delete this dumb shit.
Dang.
So, I mean, a lot of people weren't really happy with that, thinking that I was taking a loser's mentality.
Wow.
Am I taking a loser's mentality?
You just said that they could potentially be playing their backups.
Yeah.
That's all you said.
Yeah.
I don't think you said you were happy or sad about it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think that is a true statement. Yeah. I think it's happened. If you watch the Chiefs over the last couple of years, they have been in a position where they could sit their guys the last game of the year, and that's what they do. So saying that they could potentially do it again is just a fact.
Yeah, I mean,
you didn't say like we can finally win another game.
It's true.
They lost their starters. Like,
yeah. I mean, it's kind of optimistic. It's obviously not super optimistic because the Broncos don't win. I've been dealing with the other tweet last night from when I said 9-8 is not a good record. Which again, in the context of the NFL and the context of the Broncos, not a good record. In terms of the 2024 Broncos, people would be shocked. But then I got
we might have to.
Miggy says Henry loves proving he's an idiot. We got Charco saying stupid take that I assume is just for clicks so they could argue.
Actually, wasn't at all. It just came up
No,
conversationally.
that's just what I think. Yeah, but there's like a dozen more of those that have just been rolling in. So I know how you feel.
That's hilarious.
We might actually have to dive into that conversation with Todd. Maybe early next week we have this of what are realistic expectations, because Broncos Country is all over the place on what these 2024 Broncos should be. Okay, let's dive into our draft, and we're going to look at the schedule. And we can do this one of two ways. We can draft the easiest games on the Broncos schedule, taking into like where it is on the schedule, if it's home or away, or we can do the most compelling games on the Broncos schedule. Which one do you, or a different thing with the schedule, which one do you guys want to do?
Let's do the easiest.
Let's do the easiest. Okay.
Yeah.
And do we start
With the Bengals?
with, yeah, you
kidding.
better
No.
pick the Bengals with that second pick, since how much you think the Broncos are going to beat them. Do we want Todd? Do you want to start? Or?
No, you go. I started. I think
Okay,
the last
hell yeah.
one.
I'll start with the easiest one by far. Give me the Carolina Panthers at home. You can just go Panthers at home. Let's go, baby.
Yeah, that's the easiest one for sure.
Yeah,
It
it gets a
is.
lot tougher from
Quick.
there. Quick. Okay.
No, I'm saying it gets tougher quick.
Oh, I thought you were just trying to, I thought you were just
That got
kind of like
Henry
sick
to
of what I
sit
had
up
to say.
straight,
I
though.
thought you
Henry
agreed
was
with
ready.
the lady who said I give the worst commentary in the history of mankind.
Dang.
Yeah.
Not mankind.
Wow.
Or
I
the one
see.
who said, who even is that?
I think Todd's right though. When we read Twitter comments, we got to read their name because
Yeah.
they're saying it on the internet, so we can
So
we can
true.
blast them.
It's also we should do mean tweets.
We really
this should. be just a
We
thing now
really
that we do once
should.
a week.
Oh man,
This is really tough. I'm going to, I think that there are a couple easier ones on paper. I'm not spoiling. Give me at the Seahawks.
Are you kidding me? No, actually, you're not kidding me. Never
think
mind.
it's-
I forgot. You have been saying this game's easy.
Yo, you thought,
I thought it was vice versa.
I wouldn't call it easy, but
You also,
easiest.
you also
Second
picked the loss
easiest.
on that one, so
Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah, I mean, people say this is a 5-win team. Like, not me, but people are saying.
No, people say it's like a 12-win team, Henry.
You know,
I think you're thinking of last year.
I am gonna probably go away too. I think that honestly, I feel like when you look at the schedule, because in the AFC West, all the games are tough no matter what. So you gotta even if the team is not that good, you got to give them a little bump just because they're in our division.
Right.
So because of that, I'm gonna say the third easiest game is probably gonna be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, even though it's at Tampa Bay. I think the team as a whole. I want to see if Baker can redo it. I don't know.
Yep.
I don't know yet. So I think if Baker has an off game, like the last playoff game, I think it will bode well for us. So I'm gonna say the Tampa Bay Bucks at Tampa Bay.
Man, I like that one. And Todd, I like you. You have the next pick. So as you look, I'll talk about this game for a second. This is a game that if Baker takes a step up this year, then Tampa Bay with their defense, they did lose Shaq Barrett, but with their defense and him taking a step up in their offensive weapons, they could absolutely win their division, which is a pretty easy division. But also, Baker lost his quarterback coach / offensive coordinator, who's now the head coach of the Panthers, and that guy helped turn Geno Smith around. He helped turn Baker Mayfield around. I think there's even one other guy that he helped turn around. So let's say he actually takes a step back, and now they paid Baker, so they can't afford other things on their team. They could take a pretty big step in the wrong direction this year. So I could see that one being on the easier side too.
Yeah, I agree. And then the next one,
2 road games in the first 3 picks.
yeah, I feel like because all the home games, I think we actually play better talent. Maybe not the Colts. The Colts are good, but
What do you think of Anthony Richardson?
yeah. But it's late in the season. Maybe he's getting his groove back. Let me go.
I think Henry doesn't want you to pick the Colts.
I know he wants them.
I think so. That's my guess. The way he's got a smirk on.
I'm gonna actually go away again. Let me get the New Orleans Saints.
Oh.
The Saints went 9-8 last year, and they were celebrating scoring with 50 seconds last when they were.
Shout out Jameis.
I don't know if they're a truly competitive team. I think they're an okay team, but I don't think they're one of those really. They're not the Ravens or the Bengals. So I'm gonna say the Colts. I'm gonna say the Saints.
Yeah, I'm taking the Colts.
I
I don't think that was a
knew
bad
it.
pick. I think the Colts are actually going to be a playoff team this year. We don't need to dig into all my thoughts.
Why would you say that when you're saying that they're the 6th easiest game on the schedule?
Because there are so many hard games. There's 15 hard games.
That's fair.
16 hard games. The only one's not as the Panthers. And you're coming off a bye. That's why I actually did. It's a home game off a bye.
It's not bad.
So I'll go with it.
I can't believe I'm doing this. The Broncos have lost 8 straight games to this team. But like you said, like you both said, there's a lot of good teams that the Broncos are playing. But I get a home game. I'm going to go at home against the Raiders. This is week 5. It's going to be coming off a 2-game road stretch. I mean, come on. You've got to beat the Raiders at some point.
Yeah.
At home, week 5. This is it. Please. It's got to be it. Oh, no, I'm up again.
Yes, you are.
Oh, man.
Doubling up.
Todd, what do you think about? Oh, I could.
Yeah.
I could go Raiders again here. But road games I want to avoid. That's why I'm just going to take the very next game on the schedule. Chargers at home. Week 6. The Broncos always split with the Chargers. It's just whether they're going to win at home in Denver or at home in Los Angeles. So, did the Broncos sweep the Chargers last year? Boy, you're probably right. It does happen like every other year. So, so give me Chargers at home.
I'll take the Steelers at home.
Man, TJ Watt.
Yeah, but I mean, you just took Max Crosby.
That's fair. That's fair.
I'm just hoping I'm gonna win this vote because people think Russ is bad. We'll see.
That's very true. Or do they think that Justin Fields is good?
I mean, he's worse than. Again, he has one 300-yard passing game in his career. It's when he put 340 on the Broncos.
Oh, gosh.
I get why Broncos fans like him.
That's fair. That's fair. Good justification.
All right, let me get the Chiefs at home January
Get out of here, Todd. You're gonna get flamed.
because the starters aren't playing.
I like
so
it.
Oh,
I mean,
that's
I
right.
like
That's
it.
right. That's
That's
right.
why you want to give me that game.
I like it. Chiefs at home.
You hear that, Sean M.F. Payton?
There we go. Yeah, say that to Todd's face. Why don't you?
And then let me do. You went Chargers at home.
Yep.
Let me go Chargers away
Yep. That's a pretty good.
because that's still a Broncos home game. Shout out to all the Broncos fans in LA.
Yep. That game is in, again, that's one thing the NFL really helps the Broncos out. They give Broncos fans a December Chargers game like every single year
That's
away.
it.
So you get to fly to Los Angeles in December? Yeah, that'll do.
LA is the worst place in the world.
What? You better be in Billings?
You're from there.
You better be in Billings?
Okay, maybe not. Okay, Billings actually is.
Oh,
worse.
here comes backtracking.
No, okay, maybe not the worst place in the world. There's some serious cons about it though. Like the
Like what?
traffic. Like also, what do you even do there?
Get to where you need everything you want to do. Live out your dreams. You want
Drive 3 hours to the beach.
wanna
It's
be a
already
movie
packed
star?
with people.
Fair point.
Yeah, no, okay, but not all of us are movie stars. Like, I do think if I had like a lot of money, I would enjoy it. Like if you have like the house that's in like Malibu or whatever
Yes.
on the beach, and then you take like the helicopter whenever you got to go somewhere, so you get to skip the traffic.
I feel like California is one of the only places where you can ride. You can ride a snowboard and a surfboard in the same day. You can go to Big Bear and you
That's
can
a good
drive down to
Wow.
the beach in the same day.
That's a really good point. And you also have a
Yeah.
major city if you want to.
Actually, there's a lot of river surfing in Missoula. But I guess the seasons don't really cross over as much. Yeah. Yeah. Have I made my pick yet?
Todd was an actor.
That's right. I forgot Todd was an actor.
big
That is
time.
awesome.
Yeah.
Was that in LA?
Home of the stars,
Yeah,
baby.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
that's where dreams are made. There we go.
If you're an actor, then act.
What do you want me to do?
Just act.
You can't just act. You need a script.
Acts
Vernon
like he
Davis
likes
did
you
it.
every
You know
day.
what I'm saying?
What else do you
No,
want?
don't.
Vernon Davis.
Shout out to my boy Vernon Davis.
There we go.
Alex is agreeing with Henry here. LA overrated.
It's just.
Who is that?
He's gonna disappear in the chat
I haven't
now.
found my place in LA. I did do a podcast in the beach. We don't have time. Give me the other Raider game,
In Vegas.
which I think might be just as easy as playing here.
That's fair.
Like that's like playing in a literal vacuum. Like it's a joke because it looks like a vacuum, but it's like
That's true.
there's no
Roomba.
fans or anything.
You know what's crazy is the Broncos have not only never beat the Las Vegas Raiders in Vegas. They've never beat the Las Vegas Raiders. Just period. Since they've become the Las Vegas Raiders, they have never beat them.
That's true.
That is sad.
Maybe they'll
Oh,
leave
man.
Vegas.
Now you get to pick now we're down to really tough games. But I'm going to take the Browns
Yeah.
at home.
They might suck.
They might, yeah, but they also have that like, oh, what if Deshaun goes back to his form when he was with the Texans, and then they do have a really good defense and they do have a lot of weapons. What if Jerry Jeudy goes nuts? But like, probably all those things aren't going to line up. And Joe
Also-
Flacco's on a different team and
Yeah.
isn't going to save him.
Joe Flacco went 4-1 and got him into the playoffs. Like there's different ways you can look at it and say like, well, if Joe Flacco can do it, maybe
Right.
Deshaun can do it.
Right.
But also like Joe Flacco was so much better than Deshaun Watson. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's really true.
He's
and
elite.
For the final one, I'm going to go the Week 14 bye.
Ah, that's a win.
No.
That's
Yeah,
a
no,
win.
I know.
No.
I know. I'm going to go Falcons at home. Take the final home game off of the board here. I don't love it. I think Kirk Cousins, especially in the regular season, especially with weapons, is the truth. But I can see the Broncos winning this game. Last time Falcons played it in Denver, you were there. 2016, I think. 2016, I think.
Who was even the quarterback? Oh, that was Matt Ryan?
Yeah.
Must have been. In fact, was that? It was Paxton Lynch. Yeah, that was a tough game for Paxton. But that was, I think, their run to the Super Bowl. I think that was 28-3.
Oh, wow.
So they started to turn it on, and unfortunately that happened in Denver. But hopefully it won't happen this time around.
Yeah, not this time.
Henry, your final pick.
Yeah.
Choice between. So here's what's on the board, if I'm right. At the Jets, at the Ravens, at the Chiefs, and at the Bengals. Am I right on that? Mm-hmm. Henry, you have to go with the Bengals.
I mean, there's two really good teams here, and there's two teams that... Give me the Bengals. Yeah. Jets are tempting, just because, like, Aaron Rodgers is literally 40 years old. So, but I mean, I'll go Bengals.
There we go. Todd?
Give me the Jets.
The Jets.
We got the playbook. Zach is here.
That's right.
We can see
It's
the whole
true.
playbook. We'll know where Aaron Rodgers is supposed to throw the football. Now, if he throws it somewhere else, then we'll rally, make the tackle. But we'll be ready.
Todd, Sean, after his comments last year about Nathaniel Hackett, can't lose 2 games to Nathaniel Hackett and be 0-2 since saying he had one of the worst coaching jobs in NFL history.
Yeah.
Can he?
No. He needs to win right now.
Yeah, he
Definitely.
does. He does. And who knows about Aaron Rodgers? How good he's going to be, if he's going to be healthy. That game is in week
Ayahuasca.
4. Right.
Yeah.
Ayahuasca, if that happens to him the night before a game.
If it happens to him.
So the 2 games, how surprised are you guys that no one drafted at the Ravens and at the Chiefs?
That's hard. Both of those are hard to play at.
And you know what's insane is those are back-to-back weeks.
Get him out the way. Let's just
That is-
go play, put our best foot forward, get him out the way.
If I were to say, there's no real middle ground
We did
here.
beat the Bills and the Chiefs back to back last year,
That's a
didn't
really
we?
good point. And one of them was on
Yeah.
the road.
You know,
You'd have a bye week in between. It's going to help there.
a little bit.
But also you could say the bye week takes momentum away. Is that a real thing?
It
Can bye
can.
weeks take momentum away?
Yeah, it can take or give. You just have to be very locked in. If you take too much time off and you get too far away, it's going to be rough coming back.
That's why you like Cabo.
Yeah, 2 hours.
Perfect amount.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, Broncos are going to have to fly to Cabo this year because I think the NFL schedule did the Broncos dirty, and I want to get your opinion on this, Todd. The Broncos bye week, week 14, we talked about that with you on the show yesterday, but they put a Monday night game the week before their bye week, meaning the Broncos bye week is now shorter. How pissed off would that make you as a player, or not?
Yeah, it's not fair. But, I mean, you're just happy to get to Dubai. I think any way you can. But it is tough because that one day, I mean, that's a full day of travel that you would have had for relaxation. So it does suck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What doesn't suck is this show. Really enjoyed rocking and rolling.
Real quick.
Yeah.
Somebody said I'm from West Dakota. No. I live closer to the ocean than I do to a Dakota. So just want to put that out there.
Wow.
Again, you're misreading the chat completely. That's not what's going on.
Wow.
Well, I feel better having said it, and that's what matters to me.
So, Henry, when you got here, you thought we were joking that we were live?
Yeah, because every time somebody's late, we always say, let's pretend that we're actually live right now.
What if I told you that we weren't live this whole time and that we're about to start the show in 45
I had this weird
seconds?
dream last night, and it'd be just like that. Like, really weird.
Well, this was not a joke. This was the show. And
Am I awake?
Thank you. Yeah, you're awake. You're
Okay.
here, I think.
I couldn't tell in that dream.
Thank you all so much for joining us today and this week. Because we did 2 shows yesterday, we're going to take tomorrow off. So re-listen to one of those shows. If you didn't catch the show that we did on Wednesday night, make sure to catch that today. And thank you to Coach Whittingham for joining us. Thank you to Henry Chisholm. Thank you to Todd Davis. Thank you to you here. And a happy birthday to our guy, Todd. Enjoy the day off. Enjoy the weekend. Yeah. We can't wait to hear about what happens on the birthday tomorrow because it's going to be a fun one from what we've heard.
Come back.
Yeah,
like
I'm
gray
excited.
hair.
I can't wait. My wife is pregnant, though, so I feel like I
that's
can only
right.
go so hard.
Yeah.
Because she can't necessarily carry me.
It's
So,
true.
Yeah, because she's
Kind of
carrying
tough.
somebody else.
Yeah, she's already
Yep.
carrying one. She can't carry two.
Exactly.
That's going to do it. Have a great weekend.
We all silly like the mayor.